So one of the really common traps I hear from lots of composers is because we have these goals and dreams that we want to accomplish, what we tend to do by default is to start from those goals and work backwards. So an example could be maybe you're really dreaming of composing for Pixar. What you might think is, well, I need to get connected with animators. And that is true. But what tends to happen is we tend to become very, very micro-focused on that one goal. So we say, the only people that are worth contacting right now are animators. If you're not an animator, there's no point in me reaching out to you. There's no point in me exerting effort. Nothing's going to come from it. Now, what happens when we have this approach? Well, we might be really focused with the approach, and we might reach out to these animators, but we're also potentially missing a really large amount of doors and opportunities that are not those animators. You see, if we reach out to 4 animators and they all say, no, I don't have any work, there's no one hiring, then we feel kind of upset about a choice. We might think, it didn't work out. You know what? It's not a path for me. I got to try something else. But what if your best friend happened to know an animator, and because you disqualified him, you'd never found out that that was the case? So what we're trying to do here when we're approaching networking and finding work opportunities is not just working from our goal backwards. I would argue it's better to work from your present state forwards. That's going to mean some openness to potential opportunities, to people you wouldn't expect would know anybody, but you just try anyway. I cannot tell you how many opportunities have come because I just asked people and figured there's no way they're going to know anyone, right? And then sure enough, they wind up knowing people that's going to help me. That's not unique to me. That's true of anybody and everybody that I know in this industry and people who are getting there. So my recommendation to you is, if you haven't already, you need to exhaust your resources of people who already know and trust you. You might think that you've done it, but chances are you probably haven't. You've probably only tried a handful of people. It didn't work. So you're a little nervous about that and you're thinking you got to try something else. I mean, really, every friend you got, every colleague you've worked with, every family member that you have, any mentor that you've worked with, like anybody you can think of that you enjoy being with and you trust. If you don't have those people in your life, then that's actually step one. Before you can even build relationships and networking, you actually need to have some relationships in the first place. So you've got to make some friends. And that is going to mean doing stuff that has nothing to do with composing. It's going to mean finding some hobbies, going to some meetups, participating in local events. It's anything that's going to get you out there and talking to people. Once you're at that point, then of course you start tapping into it. But my key point here is, instead of working from your goal backwards, I really encourage you to work from your present state, wherever you're at, forwards. You have no idea what your path is going to look like to get to that goal. It's probably going to be a super windy one. And don't close out opportunities so early just because you think they're not going to lead you anywhere.